Also want to let you guys know that make sure you subscribe to the Going Way Back Show YouTube channel, because once again, my show is split into two parts now. So early in the week, I upload the weekly report, plus you can see Ty and Teezy's old school new news. All right? So make sure you subscribe to the Going Way Back Show on YouTube. Let's see what we got here. Who's popping in this thing? Oh, let me get mine.
Man, what's up with my guy?
What up, dog?
Man, some more of it, some more of this shit. What it do, man?
Man, just hanging out, man, hanging out. How you feeling?
I'm good, man, I'm good. I'm just hanging too, baby, that's it, you know what I mean?
How does COVID-19 treat you?
Hey, man, I've been trying to stay, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm looking at the gruff right here, and I'm checking out. How you handling that? I mean, I know that's on a lot of brothers' minds. I was talking to my brother, and I ain't seen him with a high top fade in about 30 years. But
this a fake mohawk. You know what I'm talking about? That young mohawk, man. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, are you doing your own? Are you doing your own? What you call it? Or what?
Nah, I had somebody pull up.
Okay. With mask and gloves on, like a robber.
Gloved up, masked up. You know what I'm talking about? The whole shit.
You gonna cut my hair around me? What you gonna do?
Hey, cause I ain't gonna lie, your boy was looking like a young monster. You know what I mean?
Man. Speaking of monsters and beasts, man, you got this new album called Gorilla. Right? And it's a beast, and I told you the other day when I spoke to you that album cover is so dope and refreshing. Like, what the concept of that? What's the concept of the album? And just kind of like, how did you really piece it together? And I also have to mention that it's fully produced by the Mechanics, right?
Right. It's a Keak and Mechanics album for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so talk about it a little bit. Tell me what you want.
Okay, my concept of it being Gorilla, just meaning that it's wild, it's me, it's I'm on some wild shit, can't nobody tame me, you know what I mean? Basically, you know what I'm talking about, everybody gonna have a different persona, Gorilla, but not even speaking of the animal, you know what I'm talking about, just Gorilla, you know what I mean? It's self-explanatory. To really get a good, just a good outlook on it. But Gorilla,
From my understanding, you actually in the midst of kind of wrapping it up. So from the tracks that you have now, give me a few of your favorites and why. So that they should look for.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Chase me.
I got it's a track on there called What I Won't Do. It's actually produced by DJ Fresh and the Mechanics, right? But that's one of my favorite tracks on there. I like every song on the album, you know what I mean? But like I said, I'm in the midst of wrapping it up right now. Really, just getting a few features on there because the album was all me, you know what I mean? So I just was reaching out to grab a few people to put on there with me, you know what I mean? But what you gonna say?
No, I was saying, and if you don't mind me saying it, we actually had a conversation about doing a little collab on that thing.
For sure. B, I need you on, man. Did Fo get with you?
He didn't. Did you get with him? You didn't call him. Because, me and Fo Rax, we talk all the time, right?
For sure.
So you can't get that one past me.
Yeah. I talked to him a little earlier. He said if he ain't got with you already, he's going to probably
Okay, I mean, I'm just.
by the end of the
It's
day.
out there in the public now. The public hears it. It's supposed to be
For
this
sure.
money being
And B, I need you on there for sure.
On this Gorilla album.
No.
If we don't hear it, somebody dropped the ball. I got hands, nigga.
No, B, I definitely want you on there, money. You know what I'm talking about? You know, you've been one of my guys since Digital Underground. Since I'm a big Digital Underground fan. Y'all is like legends in the Bay. You know what I'm talking about? Not like y'all are real legends out here from Oakland. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all done a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Opened a lot of doors for us. In a lot of major ways. But you and Shot. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I'm wrapping it up right now. So, like I say, it ain't done. It ain't all the way wrapped up. So, right now, it's some tracks open. You know what I mean? I need you on there. I'm I don't want to say who I got on there because they ain't all the way on yet. So
yeah. Save it for the album.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that or also I'm not even sure if you know this as much, but you kind of run pretty thick with one of my family members, and man, I've always considered you as family as well. I've followed your career, from the beginning.
Okay.
And I got a little story for you that you may not know. I'm not sure. Like, what year did Keep It on the Real come out?
1997.
97. So when that record came out, 97, my son my son was like 11 back then, right? And that was his favorite song, right?
Okay.
And y'all did the show at the Henry. I don't even know if you remember this. It was at the Henry J. Kaiser, and it was I remember King T was on it. Y'all was on it. It was like a daytime concert. But I took my son to see y'all. That was his very first concert ever, and I took him to see 3 Times Crazy because that was his favorite song.
Oh, for sure, that's big. Little money, huh?
Yep. So that was he big money now. The nigga
big money.
He got kids.
Right.
His beer bigger than yours.
Oh, for sure.
Nah, for real though. Yeah. So I got that, and then let's go back and talk about the first 3 Times Crazy album. It came out in '97, and if I'm not sure, but didn't Tonga Capone produce on that record?
Yeah, Tonga Capone.
Like, tell me how 3 Times Crazy came together. Who thought of the concept? How did y'all know each other, and how did that even come about?
Okay, well, me and Ramon, you know what I mean, Asia, man.
Yeah.
We went to Bret Hart together. You know what I mean? We used to rap against each other every day at school and shit. Like, before we hooked up. So when we did hook up as a group, we called ourselves Dual Committee. You know what I mean? Okay. It was me and Adrian, man. We was the Dual Committee. This was like in '91. You know what I mean? '92. So we did some shit with AWOL Records. Some shit didn't pan out, and we had a song called Rap Maniac. And the chorus, on the chorus, we were saying 3 Times Crazy. So Adrian, man, and Bart was friends, childhood friends, you know what I mean? So about like '93, he introduced me to Bart, and we had some shit going on with Dual Committee to where we had to change our name. So we ended up putting Bart in the group, and then we changed our name to 3 Times Crazy. So we hooked up with this dude named Spence, you know what I mean? And him and Tone, you know what I mean, was they was together. Spence was the label. They was called Dollars and Spence. So Spence was the label, and Tone was the producer.
Okay.
So we hooked up with them, and from there we did it. We was on a lot of different compilations that was coming out in the town, in the Bay, that was big, like Cell Block, Lock and Load, Boss Ballin', you know what I mean? Yeah, we was on all those different compilations. Right. So we ended up dropping an EP called Sicko. And we got a deal. We got a deal with New Tribe version with the 3 times, you know what I mean? And Stacking Chips came out in '97, you know what I mean? Tom Capone, One Drop Scott, um, and Mike Dean. Mike Dean. Is that Mike Dean? Yeah, Mike Dean. Yeah, Mike Dean did some beats on, did a few beats on there. He mixed the whole album too. You know what I mean? But that's how that whole thing came about. You know what I mean? With the 3 times. You know. Now, what was CNH? Because on New Tribe, of course, the Loonies were there, and then just give some people a little perspective. Well, one, that one of the reasons that I did follow you guys closely because Tone Capone was my guy. For sure. Him and DJ went to school together. They went to Berkeley High together. Right. And a lot of people don't know Tone Capone. He produced I Got 5 on it. For the Loonies, and he also did production with Scarface, as well as Mike Dean. Right. So he had some hitters on that first album. For sure. What was Chris Hicks, CNH's role with that whole project? As far as my knowledge, CH really didn't have he didn't have no dealings with 3 times. But I don't know, him and Tone was and Spence or whatever, they had some dealings because Tone was producing music for the Loonies as well. And I don't know if and Drew Down, I think too. But I don't think C had no dealings with that. I mean, I don't know if he introduced us to Eric Brooks to the New Tribe dude, or if he gave the word that we was the next hot thing coming about the Bay, or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, the case may be. But as far as my knowledge, I didn't know. I mean, we knew CH from from Drew and from Yuck and them, but I'm not sure if he had no dealings with us as a group. You know what I mean? Now, you said you knew Drew Down and Yuck. Yeah, Numb too, huh? You knew them just through the streets. Yeah, them was my guys, yeah. Yeah, just through the streets. And you think maybe they had any influence? Because, the Loonies were with New Tribe as well. That had to have some weight when they say, oh, yeah, those are my guys. For sure. I mean, I can't say they didn't have no dealings. I'm pretty sure that when the question came along was who the next thing coming about the Bay, or who who's hot or whatever the case may be, and they probably would have said 3 times. You know what I mean? And he probably gave them the word on just to check for us or whatever the case may have been. You know what I mean? But as far as I know, I mean, not as far as I know, but I'm pretty sure they probably told them that we was the next thing coming or whatever, Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because y'all was killing the town at the time. Right. And what was so amazing to me was that you, Adrian and Bart, sounded, all 3 of y'all were completely different and had very distinct styles. Right. How were you able to make that work? And what was that something that was consciously done? Or are you like, man, I'm gonna do it like this, y'all do it like that? Like, how did that come about? How did that work? Like I say, me and Mom was a group, you know what I'm talking about? So we had a lot of shit, we had a lot of material, you know what I mean? So when we put Bart in the group, he kind of like had to jump in, you know what I mean? And then there was a lot of songs that we had written that he had to jump on, you know what I mean? So as far as me and Adrian, we used to sound alike. You know what I mean? What a lot of people don't know, me and Adrian used to sound just alike. So that made me do something else because, I was kind of tired of people saying, that's you? I'm like, no, that's Mom. That's Mom. No, that's me. So, that it made me start doing a lot more with my shit. You know what I mean? Plus, I used to freestyle a lot. You know what I mean? I didn't really do a lot of writing. So a lot of my shit was freestyle. But then, and then I catch all the good shit and then I put it together. Yeah. But so yeah, that's kind of like how I came up with the Keak, from me not wanting to sound like Agent. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I kind of do remember, back then you'd be listening, they'd be like, which one was that? Right. And
you probably admit it now, but back then you still had a little bit of your baby weight on you.
Right.
So you're like, no, that's the big one.
For sure.
That's how we used to say, like, who is that? You know, the one with the hair, the one with the afro, the big, the fountain. You know what I mean? Until we got to really get familiar and know the names of everybody in the group. Now let's talk specifically about your style. Now I'm curious, because even if you didn't mimic, everybody has an artist or a few artists that they kind of emulated at first before they were able to gather and kind of shape their own style. For example, you know, coming up, you know, because my voice didn't project when I was coming up. Everybody was loud. It was coming right out of that hip to the hop era, right? But when I first heard Rakim, and this cat named Ramil Z, if you look up, but Rakim, everybody knows who Rakim is, and he had this real smooth, laid back style. I was like, okay, you know, I can fuck with that, and even Short, you know, just his content. I like Short for his content. He's always talking about the bitches and kicking it and clowning, right? And I was always a funny dude clowning. And then, but Rakim had that laid back style, so a little bit of that got in me. You know what I mean? And even I got
you always been super smooth. You know what I'm talking about?
Huh?
I said your voice always was super smooth. Like, you know, like you talk how you rap, B, so it ain't like you put something on it or nothing. It's like, oh, it's mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I had to figure out something but I had to latch on to something that was working for me to feel like, okay, I can do it. So tell me who that was for you.
You know, I was a big fan of hip hop, so I had a lot of people that I was just a big fan of. But as far as with me, let me think. I fucked with Mystical a lot. I liked how Mystical used to fuck with it. Tone Loc, I used to fuck with Tone Loc. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Wait, let me real quick. Just say, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do
it. Sound like that. Now go ahead.
People used to always say I kind of sound like, but I had a lot of different favorites, but I always wanted to stand out, and I wanted my own something to say that it was me. You know what I mean? So, like I say, freestyling and then going back and listening to shit, it's kind of like what gave me the signature Keak. You know what I mean? But and then I always had a voice. You know what I mean? When I put emphasis on my shit and come how I come, my voice always stood out different than like Asian Man always just had a strong ass voice, you know.
Right.
He like a Scarface like voice. Like his shit was signature strong as fuck, you know what I mean? You know, my shit was, you know, then I was young too, you know. I didn't grow, you know, a lot with my music, but if you listen to 3 times, you know, to just Keak, you know what I mean? I matured a lot with just how with how I deliver my shit. But you know, then I was rapping up against these 2 dudes who was raw as fuck. So I had to go with it. You know what I mean? It was like we was competing. All of us was competing against each other on every song. So it was, you know, more of a friendly competition thing, like, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to be dope. I wanted my own sound, you know what I mean? I wanted to be Keak. I wanted you to be like, okay, that's Keak, you know? But I can't really say I really imitated nobody. But you know, because I was just a super fan of a lot of different music, you know? But
well, name some of the artists that you loved, like when you were younger as a kid. Like what rappers? Huh?
Well, you know, like I fuck with Shaq, you know what I mean, and Humphrey Hump, you know what I mean. I fucked with Cube, you know what I mean. I was a big Cube fan. Let's say DOC. I fucked with Doc, you know what I mean. I fucked with AMG. Remember, you know, AMG. I fucked with Biz Marquis, you know what I mean. With Biz, I fucked with you know, old school Kwame, you know what I mean.
My guy. Yeah. Speaking of Kwame, Kwame is going to be my guest next week, everybody. So make sure y'all tune in the same time.
Oh, that's big. That's big.
Yeah, you got to come back, Kwame.
I'm going to tune in. Yeah, I fuck with Kwame. Yeah. I fuck with
that's my people.
uh, who was that? Um, Anita, the Beast. Who was that? That was
uh,
uh,
damn it, it's gonna come to me.
yeah, I fucked with Slick Rick. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I fucked with I was a super
You
fan.
just like you was a hip hop head like
I
me,
was
you
a
liked
hip
it.
hop head for sure.
So let me ask you this: when did you first realize that you had something? When you started developing, like kind of shortening your words and you know what I mean, all of
Yeah.
that. Like when was the first time somebody said, "Man, do more of that," or how did you develop that? Like when did you say, "Okay, this is a thing"?
Right. Like I said, the freestyle. You know what I mean? I used to play with my freestyles. I would just freestyle for 2 or 3 minutes straight, and then I would go back and I would listen. You know what I mean? And it used to take me for me to do that type of shit to try not to fall off. You know, like when you're on the freestyle and then
Yeah, you just go,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that kind of like put me in that mode. And then them dudes was like, "That's dope, man. Like, do more of that." So I kind of like I started off just doing it on the hooks. You know what I mean? Like I would just put really a lot of emphasis on the hooks and shit like that. And then I kind of like feel it. It started just I started being comfortable with doing it. It started off with motherfuckers laughing and shit like fuck. You know what I mean? I look in the booth. I look in the room as I'm recording and niggas would be in there laughing. But not at me, but like laughing like it's dope. But it's just funny too though. You know what I mean? So I really can't and then it go back to me just wanting to be me, you know what I mean? Or just wanting to do something new that wasn't nobody doing and stand out. You know what I mean? So yeah. But that's kinda like how, and yeah, it's kinda like, motherfuckers say I'm like the first mumble rapper or some shit like that. Back then, motherfuckers couldn't understand like shit I was saying sometimes. But I always was saying something. I never just.
That's what I'm saying. Like you knew you were saying it and it was insinuated, but you just shortened it just enough to where you didn't really understand it, but you knew what the fuck you was talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's super dope. And you might not even know it's complex.
Right.
To know that this is a word that I don't even have to say the whole word, but people are going to know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Right.
When I'm emphasizing it.
Right. And then it go back to not wanting motherfuckers to learn my shit easy. Like, some people you can listen to at one time and then you'll kind of like, or you can.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, or you can pinpoint the next word somebody's going to say, or I don't know, like type shit. Like, like I'm going to make it a little bit complex for you to just learn my shit up fast. You're going to have to rewind it and listen, like, what the fuck did he say? I want to play that shit again, So it just goes back to having fun with it too, though.
We're real big on stories, right?
Right.
So give me a memorable experience as far as recording that album, Stacking Chips. Like, tell me about a song that you remember recording that was maybe the best time you had, or it was crazy getting this song done. Give me a story about one of the songs off of that album.
All right, let's say, I would have to say, we had a song, let me see, Stacking Chips. A lot shit. I got a lot of memorable.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I know you do. That's what I'm saying. Give me one.
Album. Okay, we used to record. So me and Mom went to Bret Hart. I think BA, yes, Mr. Sikalufkis. BA went to Tech. So Tone and One Drop Scott, that's my guy, man. Gator. That studio used to be in Berkeley on McGee Street, right by Berkeley High. So we used to catch the bus, from the east to the north to Berkeley to go to the studio every day, Back then Scott had like 2 or 3 dogs. He had a big ass German Shepherd named Malcolm and a Shar-Pei. I think yeah. So long story short, we recorded the whole album there. But long story short, we had a song called "Next Nigga Ho Tried to Fade Me," and true story. You know what I mean? BA had just he did something. He peed on the broad or done something, and went to jail for that shit or whatever. But on his verse, he talked about it, right?
Yeah.
But so while we were recording that song, that was back when them nigga Tony used to have the firest weed a nigga could smoke back then, and all he smoked was joints and shit, right? That was before blunts and shit. We wasn't really smoking blunts yet. We was still smoking joints and shit. But I think that was one of the first times it took me about 30 takes to do my verse. You know, I usually do like I'm usually like one take Jake, right? But this weed had me so high, you know what I'm talking about? It took me hella long to do my verse. But I say all that to say, that song right there, man, had me I was just so loaded that day I couldn't even get my verse out. And then the song, I already had the song. I wrote the hook and everything. So them dudes was, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, that day it took me hella long to do my verse. I was so high off that motherfucking weed, man. And back then we was young and shit too. I was like 15. So I think Moan was 16 and BA was 17. So like I say, we catching the bus from Bret Hart. And we damn near cutting school and going up there to the studio and shit. But yeah, that day right there, man, it took me hella long to do that motherfucking verse on that song. But that was one of the dopest songs. If you go back and listen to Stacking Chips, it's called The Next Nigga Ho Tried to Fade Me.
I was listening to it today, actually. Because I was gonna play something. If you want me to play that one, I'll pull it back up.
Yeah, but that song always had me like, damn, you feel me? And it's funny because we had the song done, and BA used to always be last doing his verses because he had to write a verse to songs we had done already. You know what I mean? To a lot of those songs, you know. But yeah, it seemed like I had just wrote the shit that day. It took me so long spitting that verse out, and it wasn't really like a complex verse or nothing. But yeah, man, that day right there, man, in the studio was crazy. You know, all the other songs. Huh? What you was gonna say?
No, go ahead, finish.
Yeah, I say all the other songs was kind of like we used to go in there and knock shit out, like we was just super hella professional. You know what I mean? Back then when we was first starting off, you know.
Right.
It was like, we was excited to be in the lab, and Tone.
Went in there.
Yeah, Tone was making
really wanted to get it
too, But yeah, that was some of the fun
times. Shit.
Yeah, man. That was some of the funnest times, man. Recording that Stacking Chips, man. Us thinking, yeah. The album that was a dope ass album too. We felt like couldn't nobody fuck with us back then too,
That album was moving. I was listening to the whole thing today. And I'm about to play. I don't know if you want to hear the Snuffleupagus or the Keep It Real.
Play whatever you want to play. Be on,
All right.
Bring me back.
Now, let me play a little bit so they can know what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah.
Let me see. But then I remember y'all clicked up with the Gov and the Loonies and what was it? With Seidel.
Yep, Seidel.
And everybody, what y'all call yourself? The Mob. The Mob.
Yep, Paraphernalia to the Mob.
Yeah, Paraphernalia to the Mob.
Yeah.
Who all it was? That was you.
It was Richie. That was y'all. Yeah, Loonies, 3 Times Crazy. The Loonies, Seidel, Swoop G.
Swoop G.
Richie Rich was in the Mob.
Okay.
Yeah. And who else? Yeah, that was us. 3 Times Crazy, Seidel, Drew, the Loonies, and Richie Rich. Yeah.
Now, I'm almost sure y'all did, but did y'all ever get the album, the full album with everybody from Paraphernalia to the Mob on it?
We never completed an album, but we always had mob songs on everybody.
Yeah, everybody was on everything, right?
Yeah. But that was something I kind of like regretted not doing too, because we was dope together, like everybody had something to bring to the table,
Yeah, it was a dope ass collective.
Yeah.
I used to be around, me and Nummy Numb.
For sure,
And I used to, Gov was my guy. I used to
for sure.
GOV all the time to see all the niggas coming in and out.
Yeah, Granny House on Congress on High Street.
Yep, Congress. Yeah. Yep. In there in the back, and then I think Gov decided he wanted to be the Suge Knight of Oakland or something. Then started getting crazy.
Hey, we used to have a fight at every show with the bouncers, with the crowd. We was fighting like a motherfucker every show.
Yeah, that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna let y'all get to the show. I see y'all back on Congress. Everybody cool.
Damn, man, them was the days, man.
Yeah, but it was cool. I used to go through there and he used to be playing like, "Mom, what you think of this one? Okay, I'm about to put this one. I'm gonna put him on this one."
Yeah, but that nigga Numb, man. Well, motherfuckers don't know, Numb produced too. Numb used to make bumps for us too. Numb done produced a lot of different tracks for us. You know?
Oh, yeah, Numb scored from the Looney, so he did. Sure. What's the song that people might know that Nummy produced for you guys?
Numb produced Maria on Immortalized album.
Somebody just mentioned that they like the Maria song.
Yeah, Numb produced that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Nice. Let me play a little bit of Stuff Love Against. Then I want to ask you about when we come back. I want to ask you about the demise of the group. You know what I mean? Right. Like what actually happened. So hold on. Let me just feel a little bit. Let me clean this one up. Kill it at the end. Cheers. That's it. All right, so y'all was moving and shaking. Then what happened? Why'd you guys stop doing music together?
Damn, why did we stop doing music together? Adrian was he was battling with a lot of demons and shit. He when we was young, before we even Adrian used to preach when we was young. You know what I mean?
Right.
like before the rapping and all that, he used to preach. He was a young preacher back then. Heavy, like his family was heavily in the church. You know what I mean? Heavily in the word. Age started. I don't know. He was battling with a lot of different demons. Man, he started wanting to do gospel music. He just like he lost his love for what we was doing. And then we had went through a few situations where our business wasn't right. We had you know we had signed that deal with New Tribe. They they ended up dropping us from the label. And,
Right.
You know, he kind of like this. I don't know. He started going his own way. So he did a solo album before we even knew about it. He was doing so. He forced us. I mean, he forced me to start thinking about, okay, well, what I'm gonna do with Keak. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so I started doing a solo album as well. Just in the midst of us not having our business together, and you know, I don't know. It was just crazy, man. It felt like Adrian Man had backed up on the 3 time situation, and
So you guys never had a conversation about it. One day he just backed up out like I'm cool, or he stopped returning the calls or what?
Yeah, he kind of like just backed up on us. He just was like he wasn't feeling it no more or some shit like that, and you know, motherfuckers start going the other way. Like I say, we was young when we came in this shit, 15 and 16 and 17. So after those first 2 albums that we did, you know, um, we just started having different visions about shit and seeing shit different. You know, um, like I did my first solo album in '99, like 2000, and like I said, Stacking Chips dropped in '97. So, um, you know, as we started going our different ways and shit, and BA had got, you know, he had got tackled with some shit. You know, the feds had picked him up on some shit that he had going on, and motherfuckers started, we kind of grew up, and
life started happening.
Life started happening, and everybody started going their own way, trying to figure it out. My thing was, what you was gonna say?
Right.
My thing was, I'm gonna keep this shit lit until we come back until we come back, to this shit, to this day. You know what I mean? That's my whole thing. I was like, I'm just gonna do me until we all and bring us back together. You know what I mean? To this day, you know what I mean? That was my idea as far as with the Keak thing. But when we started going our separate way, I just did Keak. You know what I mean? And I was trying to find a way too.
Right.
Basically,
Just so everybody understands, you guys are still friends because I hear you on some of Adrian Man shit.
For sure. Them is my brothers still to this day. We still friends. We didn't have a fallout to where we.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I wanted to get to because a lot of people think just because you break up means that the group fell out. But I know you guys were always cool. Y'all didn't fall out with each other. Sometimes you just grow apart. Right.
We all got kids the same age. You know what I mean? And they doing music now, and they dope. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And now I was just gonna say, I want to shout out Cletus Mack. He was saying he remember Adrian Man was a preacher at Cox.
Yeah. Back in the For sure. So Adrian Man kind of like just went back to his roots. He always was heavily in the God and in the preaching in the church. You know what I mean? His family was a real spiritual family. You know what I mean? Not to say I wasn't, but you know what I mean? I wasn't just like, so heavily into it like mom. Like, he know the Bible, like he know the word. You know what I mean? Yeah, but we never was funking or nothing like that, or we didn't fall out to where we wasn't friends no more or nothing like that. Nah, just life happens. We got older, and we just all was just going our separate ways, just trying to feed our families with what we was doing,
Right. So that book, basically that chapter of the book, just it was time to close it, right?
Right.
So then, a time that I remember you really, really like when you kind of pop back on the scene real hard, right? Was right around 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
And, before we talk about this song, I just want to say, and I'm sure every city has it, but Oakland has only a few anthems.
Right.
And I don't give a fuck. When you hear the first beat drop, everybody's going crazy.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if you, like, to this day, 12-year-olds in Oakland know Dolphin beat.
Right.
It's just one of them things that always carry through. Then you also got the 500 remix. Richie Rich, where you from? Oakland, smoking. But then you got white T-shirt, blue jeans, and Nikes. That motherfucker. Like if you wasn't there, you just don't understand what that did to the town. Like, explain that record. Like, and I'm gonna play it for the people that's listening that don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But explain that record. How did you come up with it? And what was the whole? Where did that come from? And the track.
At the time, back then we was on our independent shit, but I was trying to actually get a deal with somebody. So, I was going through all the phases to where, they was telling me this, telling me that. They was telling me I couldn't. I couldn't make singles, you know what I mean? Back then, KMEL wasn't really playing us on the radio. So I had hooked up with Rick Rock, and Rick Rock had made this beat for me, that particular beat there. And at the time, that's what we was doing, you know what I mean? We was wearing T-shirts, blue jeans, and Nikes, you know what I mean? And, that beat kind of brought that song out of me. And rest in peace to my cousin Nubs, you know what I mean? That was kind of like our thing, you know what I mean? You ain't have to be no super baller to be able to, go get you a fresh white T-shirt and a haircut and a fresh fade, you know what I mean? So that song was crazy. But I was there, and so I seen what it did to the town. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Was you surprised? Was you shocked? He was like, "Wait a minute."
At the time, I don't know. It was just like that beat. That beat brought that song out of me, And it was like I said, my nigga told me don't be scared. I said I'm gonna run the streets just like him. T-shirt, blue jeans, and Nikes. Coke white T-shirt, blue jeans, and Nikes. Stay strapped with a 4.5. I wish the nigga would try me.
Now the line that got me, and then you tell me about this when you say the line that killed me was when you said, came up High Street, left on Fairfax. Right. Now the reason I say that is because that's where the Mechanics studio was, there.
Yeah.
So then I know a lot of people thought the Mechanics did that, but but it says Rick Rock and beat. But were you visiting that studio? Like, what were you doing in that area?
Okay, I grew up on High Street, so I grew up on Allendale. So I used to go to Brookdale Park. I went to Fremont too. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So and Kenny Tweed stay right there, and the Mechanics Lab was right there. But around that time, and the Mechanics is my childhood friends. You know what I mean? Tweed.
Yeah, we gonna get into that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but so it was something that I used to do. I used to come up High Street and hit Fairfax. I used to go to that store, you know what I mean? But I used to walk.
That's what I'm saying. You can visualize it because I know exactly what you was talking about.
Right. So
everybody.
Yeah. So it was like, I was just rapping about what I was doing, what we was doing, And I wasn't particularly talking about the Mechanics, but it just so happened that their lab was right there, and Tweed stayed right across the street from Fairfax Liquor. But it was kind of like that's how I used to fuck with it, And, yeah, that was hot though, huh?
Let me ask you this. 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 Let me ask Now I was gonna say, let me give him a bar of it, and then we're gonna come back and we definitely gonna talk about the mechanics.
For sure.
Let me drop that for y'all.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy, like I said, it's just like as soon as the beat drop,
Okay.
it's home. It's taking me back.
For sure.
Extended version. Shout out to Going Way Back Show. Hey.
Early roast, big hype syrup, milkshakes. Transport away from the south to the Gulf State. Swinging big eggs from the regular type. Maybe intersection, Trump start the cycle. Mind on another mess, hats don't speak on. Serve raw and uncut, so you mix the tweak on.
We want to rubber band.
Like come out rap. Independent like you, no video, radio, black. You and 86 murders.
Got John Teasy out here getting low.
Oh, everything.
About that Frisco out of it.
You know we gotta eat. They call me the snake.
Keak,
My real name.
call me right back. They about to kill me. You know they give you an hour at a time, right?
Right. Hit you right.
Everybody when it cut off, I'm gonna click right back on. Keak jump right back on, and we're gonna finish talking about this.